You're tuned in to Just One Hot Mom with host Nanika Ansari. Get ready. She's about to bring you that fire, that flavor, that heat, all that passion, and more from around the world and in your neighborhood. Stay tuned.
Hey hotties, you are tuned into Just One Hot Mom. I am your host Nanika Ansari, and today we are talking gratefulness. So I came up with the journal topic in the Hot Mommies Get Healthy group because I have found myself being ungrateful. Most of the time when I come up with something for y'all, it's because I'm going through it myself. So like I'm ready, I won't complain, and I'm grateful. And over the course going into Thanksgiving, I found myself just complaining a lot again about stuff that I should have been thankful for. Like my house was overflowing with people. It was just a lot. And if anybody knows me, as much as I'm an extrovert, at home, I'm like, don't touch my stuff. Don't look at me. I like to be closed off in my room. I just like to meditate and be on my stuff. And so I was just really in a funk. And I was like, you know what? Why are you so funky? Like, be grateful. Be grateful that somebody want to be around you behind. You know, like, be grateful that you have a home that you can invite people into. And so I thought of the journal. And so throughout the month of November, if you guys participate in the prompts, I'm participating with you. Like, I come up with them, but I'm also participating in the prompts because I need to review, I need to evaluate why I'm grateful as well. I forgot to turn on my Do Not Disturb. Sorry, y'all. That is life. So I came up with a couple things. If you know me, I'm a big researcher, and I like to look up stuff before I give you guys a message or before I come to you guys with anything. I just like to look it up to make sure that I'm on my P's and Q's with you guys. And so this is what I came up with. Being grateful is a choice. Like we can choose to be mad, sad, glad, but you can ultimately choose to be grateful as well. And so, why are we choosing not to be grateful for stuff? And oftentimes it's because being grateful on a regular basis isn't the norm. Like being happy on a regular basis isn't the norm. Being grateful all the time is the norm. If people just walked around all the time talking about how grateful and appreciative they are, the world would be a better place. But because we don't have that seed of gratefulness planted in us, we can't walk around appreciative all the time. You seem like a weirdo if you walk around on a regular basis and you're just appreciative and happy and jolly all the time. Like we consider those people to be fake because who can be that way all the time? But the Bible tells us that if you have a grateful spirit, you are inviting good things to come to you. That you are inviting the Lord to come into your heart and just show up and show out in your life. So why don't we have grateful hearts? And like I said before, it's because you would be deemed a weirdo if you walked around acting grateful all the time and thankful all the time. And there are people that do that. I'm sure somebody in your life right now is acting grateful on a regular basis and you just think that they're being phony. But we should try to achieve that level of gratefulness, of always having a grateful heart, and no matter what goes on in our lives, because there is the test and the testimony, and you have to be grateful through that whole process, because at the end of the story, as I always say, if you believe, God has already told us that we win, so you already have victory. So why not be grateful throughout the whole process? But it's not easy. Being grateful takes a daily practice. You have to practice being grateful every day. Shout out to the Curvy Queen because she really got me started on doing a grateful journal. So every morning, if you guys have not checked back, shout out to Maddie James. Go and talk to my sister because she is now Team Maddie James. Maddie James, I dropped her podcast in the group a few months ago, and it talks about 5 things she does in the morning before she starts her day, before her family wakes up, before she even starts looking at Facebook, Instagram, any type of social media, before she looks at her phone. 5 things that she does, and one of those things was to list the things that she was grateful for. How often do you list what you're grateful for? Like, how often do you take the time to be appreciative of every little thing in your life? Like, I can honestly say I don't. Like, I'm always in a rush to do something else, to do the next thing, to prove the next thing. I'm always in a rush. And so I oftentimes don't take the time to show appreciation or to just be grateful that God has given me abilities. And so when you get sat down, let me tell you, God has a way of coming into your life and being like, oh, you're not going to show your gratefulness. Well, let me sit you down for a little while, and I'm going to show you how to be grateful. This light is throwing me off, y'all. Sorry. So when it came time for me to be able to do some other things and to move forward, like, I move fast. Like, anybody who's ever worked with me, it's like, boom, we got to get this done, we got to get that done. I move fast. I wasn't able to move as fast, y'all. I hurt my back. I had not been to work out in 2 weeks. Like, everything was just moving super slow for me. And it was because God was like, reflect on the goodness that has come into your life. Like, I didn't take a moment to reflect on the things that I have done and be grateful to be able to do those things. And I'm going to be all the way honest with you. Like, I just had not said, thank you, Lord, for the ability to write. Thank you, Lord, for the ability to drive to get me to all these places. Thank you, Lord, for giving me a loving family who knows that I'm not trying to ignore them. You know, I wasn't taking the time to be grateful. And when you don't be grateful, God will call you to the carpet and he will say, sit down, girl. You need to show some gratefulness. And so that's honestly what happened. Like, I was like, I couldn't come in the group until I got my own funky attitude adjustment and started to remember that it's only through his grace and his mercy that I'm able to talk to you, to be transparent with you, to, you know, to show my life in the way that he would have it be shown. Like, my prayer every day is that self dies that he may live. That means that I will surrender everything that's going on with me so that I can have the victorious life that God has planned for me. And so, but in those moments when I get into Nikki mode, when I get into Nanika mode, and I can't like focus and call on him, and our connection isn't what it's supposed to be, honey, he will sit me all the way down. But let me tell you what gratefulness allowed to happen for me. Once I started to evaluate and to stop walking around this funk like, this is going wrong, that's going wrong. Once I started to appreciate everything that was going right in my life, doors started to reopen for me. I started to live like, you just live joyously. Like, my sister called me up this morning and was like, okay, I have to admit that the whole Maddie James thing was right. When you speak your gratefulness into existence, you just have this joy about you. When you can speak the things that you are grateful for out loud, you just start to appreciate more. Like, I'm grateful for the ability to be able to pay my bills. You know what I'm saying? Paying bills is such a daunting task. And it's like, why do I got to spend money for lights? Shouldn't lights just be free? Water. Shouldn't water just be free? But when you just start to thank God that he has blessed you enough to be able to pay your bills, you can be more appreciative. You just have to appreciate everything. Even when the kids are in the car driving you crazy, telling that story for the 99,000th time, be thankful that they can speak. Be thankful that they have knowledge. Be thankful for everything that is going on with them, that they're able to express themselves for you. Because, not to give you a guilt trip, there is some mother somewhere wishing that her child could speak and she can't. You know, so we have to be thankful for every single thing. Even the things that are annoying to us, we have to be thankful for it. For the spouse that won't take out the garbage when you ask them to, for the person in traffic who you have to blow the horn to get them to move. The thing I think we all fail to realize is that we are all doing life. And you're doing life with people, and you're doing life separately. And so all of our stories are just intertwining with each other. And so when you don't take the time to appreciate someone else's story, you show your ungratefulness. You reveal that ugliness that's in you that says, like, so what if they got something going on? It's not my life. And that's just not how we're supposed to be with people. We're supposed to love on people. So when you can't appreciate what somebody else is going through, I'm not saying you have to be like, oh, you have to help them solve their problems. Sometimes that ain't your place. Your place may not be to solve their problem, but sometimes it's to sympathize with them and to be grateful that you can be there for them. Sometimes it ain't meant for you to do nothing. Just be grateful that you can be there and you can be present in their lives. Or sometimes just like be grateful that you got a horn to blow and don't blow it. Like, I know I'm a big Isha. Oh, why do I got these? Y'all just gonna let me sit here? Ain't nobody say nothing. But just be grateful for everything that you have in your life, because there is someone else who is looking and like, dang, I wish I had their life. Or maybe you're looking at somebody and you're wishing you had their life. Be grateful for the life that you have, because only you can do that life. Like I always tell you guys, that whatever is meant for you is totally and completely meant for you. It won't fit anybody else. It won't be anybody else's story. Nobody else could be the author of that. It's meant strictly for you. And what a blessing that is to know that God designed all these little specific things just for you. And then speaking of that and being grateful, just think about it. Right now, I have the ability to blink. No matter how many times I blink, I have the ability to move my mouth, move my hands. I have all of these abilities. You guys get how intricate your brain is. That means that a signal went from our brain all the way through my body to tell my hands to move, to tell my mouth to move, to tell my voice to move, to do all these things. Be grateful, because there's somebody out there who can't speak when they want to speak, who can't get up and walk away when they want to walk away, who just is in a place where they can't understand what's going on in their lives, and they're like seeking out and crying out to God. But there are some women in this group who know what are going on in their life, who can seek out and cry out to God and accept what he has for them. Be grateful for those moments, because let me tell you, when you get sat down for being ungrateful, it is not pretty. And let me tell you, I felt so I wasn't sad. I'm trying to think, what is the emotion? I was humbled, because I'm like, God, you have given me opportunity after opportunity to do the things that I love to do, and to not have to apologize for who I am as a person, to just boldly speak about who you are. Do you guys realize that we still live on a planet where there are people who cannot speak about the goodness of God without going to jail or being killed? Yet every day we can do it. We can do it freely here. And so I was like, Lord, I have to be grateful for every moment, for every test, for every struggle, for every joy, for every tear. I have to be grateful for that, because I am making a path and leading the way for somebody else to be grateful as well. So I'm sorry, what it? Yes, I'm trying to work on that, getting caught up there. Yeah, life happens. Let me say, life happens every day, and you're just stuck in the middle, and you're like, I don't know how I'm going to get through this. How does God expect me to be thankful when all of this stuff is happening? The furnace went out. Let me tell y'all what happened. This is the true story. The furnace went out. Somebody overcharged my credit card. The kids needed more stuff for school that wasn't expected initially. Everything was happening at the same time. So it's like I got all these good things happening, and then I got a few little things that are pulling me out of pocket, and I'm letting that little stuff that's pulling me out of pocket take over everything that I should be grateful for. And so it was like, God was like, Nick, weigh your scales. Like, okay, you got all of this that you should be grateful for. You got a few things that's taking you through the test, and you're going to allow that? It doesn't even make any sense. So I just had to sit down and really be like, okay, Lord, I hear you. I am grateful. And I just started saying every morning I get up, before I get out of the bed, I just get up and I'm like, I'm grateful for the ability to breathe in this air this morning. I'm grateful that the little crack in the window lets some air in, so I'm not smothering with the heat that's going on in this house. I'm grateful that Sparky comes and lays at the foot of my bed to wake me up every morning. Like, you have to be grateful for so many things in your life, because those things could be taken away. Those moments, those feelings, those emotions. Imagine if you couldn't feel anything, if you couldn't feel joy. Imagine if you couldn't feel joy, what your life would be like. You would be boring, and I probably wouldn't want to hang out with you. I'm going to be honest. If you're a joyless person, I'm going to pray that you get some joy, because it's hard to hang out with a joyless person. But God is saying, even be grateful for that, for the leaves that hit the ground, for this funky weather we have going on in Cleveland, Ohio. Be grateful for all of that, because somewhere somebody's experiencing something totally with their weather, and it's tsunamis and earthquakes and all of that stuff going on, and you mad because it's snowing outside. Be grateful that that's all we got, because it could be so much worse. So, okay, wait, I'm reading my notes. Oh, so this is what I read. A wise person once said that to be grateful is to have a great attitude. Imagine that. All you have to do is change your attitude. That seems really simple. I know, like, Nick, you just telling me to change my attitude and all of a sudden all these miraculous things are going to happen? Yep. Change your attitude. It all starts with you. Any diet program, any educational program, all that starts with you. There's nothing that any of us on the outside could do if you're not willing to change your own heart. It starts with you. You have to make the determination to say every day I'm going to try to be a little bit more grateful. I'm not saying miraculously just go wake up in the morning and you're just going to be like, I'm grateful for Nick, I'm grateful for Facebook, I'm grateful for coffee, I'm great. It won't happen like that, but gradually every day, like I told you, Marquita started it. If you get out and you have your grateful journal and just start listing every day. Every day I try to list three things I'm grateful for. And sometimes it's hard. Sometimes it's repeats because I'm extra grateful for those. But every day I make it a point to make sure that I say that I'm grateful for something. And the way you can determine what you should be grateful for is, what do you value? What in your life do you value? Like for me, I value my children, I value my peace of mind, and I value my relationship with God. Those are three things right off the top of my head I can think that I value. Start there. I'm grateful for my relationship with God. I'm grateful for my children. I'm grateful that I have peace of mind. I'm grateful I can get rest. Start off there. It doesn't take like a mountain that you have to move to express your gratefulness. Start off with the things that you value. And so if you value things, then you're more inclined to be grateful for those things. But being grateful ultimately starts with having a great attitude. It's time, and this season is like the worst. I think the holiday season is the time when we are our most ungrateful. And it's a time that we shouldn't be like, whole Thanksgiving. You're like, oh, I'm thankful, I'm thankful, I'm thankful. But then when people come to your house and they mess up stuff, you're like, I just wish they would leave. I just wish they would go somewhere. You're not grateful for them. And so it's in these seasons that we have to press forward and be like, okay, Lord, I'm going to be grateful. Despite the fact that this is going on in my life, I'm going to be grateful. Despite the fact that I don't want to be grateful, I'm going to be grateful. And in everything you do, you just start to take that attitude and carry everything. And I'm going to tell y'all, once I started doing that in the morning, it did lead me to start a cheerier day. Like every morning I get up, I do my Bible study, I do what I'm grateful for, I do my prayers for the family, I go plan out my day, and then boom, I'm off and kicking it. And my attitude is placed in one of positivity because I started my day out with one, talking to the Father, and two, for being grateful for the things that are going on in my life. So I'm just challenging you guys to really step outside of what you think your comfort zone is and to be grateful and express your gratefulness and tell people that you're grateful for them while they're here. There are way too many people dying and not knowing how we feel about them before they're gone. Then after they're gone, we're like, oh, I'm really miss so and so. If so and so was here for me to talk to them, like, tell people now, like, I appreciate you. I thank God for my relationship with you, because you may not ever get to tell them that again. We have to start to do that on a regular basis and stop waiting to tell people how we feel about them. Tell them up front and let them know, because people need to hear that, especially during these seasons when we don't know if people are depressed. I had a coworker today tell me that, I was like, hey, like, how do you want to celebrate Christmas? Do you want to listen to Christmas music? You want to do a cookie exchange? I only like one person in my office. I'm joking. But and she was like, no. She was like, I don't celebrate the holiday season because every holiday season somebody in my family passed. And I was like, Dad, could you imagine not being like being afraid to celebrate life because you feel like somebody's going to lose their life? Like, I can't imagine it. So I'm like, I'm grateful for a happy holiday spirit and to be able to spread that on to people, because not everybody is able to be happy during the season. And so if you can start out with you being grateful and letting that positive attitude transform and just like seep out from you onto other people, you don't know whose life you're going to change and who may start their own grateful journey. So Let me see how I'm gonna wrap this up. Oh, so how can you start to be patient? I mean, grateful. Patience is a whole nother conversation. One, it starts with you saying what you're grateful for. Start out with my kids. I'm grateful for my kids. And if that's all that you could be grateful for that week, every day list why you're grateful for your children. Start there. Get you a journal. If you have to, use the journal on your phone. Dictate it, do something. But every day, just say why you're grateful. And then on Sunday, go back and read that over and figure out, like, dang, I really was grateful this week. I really did appreciate and I was thankful for those things that were going on in my life. That's one way you can start to be grateful. Two, look yourself in the mirror and have a conversation with yourself. Like I'm talking to myself right now. Why do I have an ungrateful attitude? Why can't I just be happy and feel grateful for those blessings that I have? Because sometimes you gotta sit down and spit real stuff to yourself. Like sometimes, like I have probably the dopest and deepest conversations with myself. Like, Nick, you need to pull it together. You need to get your life back right. You need to do these things. And sometimes it takes for you to have a real tough conversation with yourself to determine how you're going to change your negative attitude into a positive one and start to be grateful.